Does meeting your twin flame really mean you'll never love again? That haunting question echoes through the quiet moments, doesn't it? After that encounter, the one that felt less like meeting a person and more like the universe realigning your very atoms, the world seems irrevocably changed. Colors feel muted. Conversations skim the surface of a newfound, aching depth within you. The idea of swiping right, of casual coffee dates, of anyone else touching the raw, exposed nerve and endings you now call your heart, it feels laughable, or maybe just devastatingly empty. You wander, a ghost in your own life, convinced the only real thing was them, and now, silence. A perpetual aching waiting room. The whispers online scream warnings. You'll be forever bound. Your heart belongs only to the flame. It paints a picture of romantic exile written in starlight and tears. Beautiful traveler, what if we've been sold a profound, soul-crushing myth? What if this gut-wrenching feeling of eternal exclusivity isn't your destiny, but the most agonizingly necessary passage through a sacred transformation? Forget the recycled platitudes and tired twin flame tropes for a moment. This isn't about offering you cheap comfort or spiritual bypassing. This is about cracking open a rarely discussed, luminous truth buried deep beneath the ache, a truth that reveals not the end of your capacity for love, but the breathtaking expansion of it, that soul-shattering encounter. It wasn't meant to be your final love story. It was the cosmic chisel striking the marble block of your being, revealing a masterpiece of connection you never dreamed possible. The seeming barrenness you feel now? It's not emptiness, beloved. It's the fertile, fallow ground after the forest fire, teeming with invisible life, waiting for seeds of a different, more resilient beauty to take root, ready to discover how meeting your twin flame might have rewritten love's entire blueprint within you for the better. Let's be brutally honest for a second. That meeting, the one that felt less like a first date and more like a cosmic collision, like someone finally plugged you into the universe's main power grid? Yeah, that one. Afterwards, the world seemed dimmer, didn't it? Colors muted. Conversations felt like scratching at the surface of a vast, silent ocean within you. The idea of swiping right, of making small talk over coffee, of anyone else touching that raw, newly exposed nerve ending you now call your heart. Utterly laughable. Or maybe just utterly devastating. You wander through life feeling like a ghost, haunting your own existence, convinced the only real thing was them. And now, what? Emptiness? A perpetual waiting room? The Quora threads scream, "You'll never love again." The YouTube videos whisper warnings of eternal longing. It feels like a life sentence written in starlight and tears. But what if we've been reading the map upside down? What if this crushing exclusivity isn't the destination, but the most agonizing, necessary part of the journey through? Hear me out. This isn't about cheap consolation. This is about excavating the profound, rarely spoken mystery buried beneath the ache. Imagine your heart before this encounter, a perfectly functional lamp, perhaps. It gave light, it warmed the space. Then, wham, the twin flame arrives like a supernova exploding right inside your chest. Suddenly, that little lamp is shattered. Glass everywhere, wires exposed, the sheer intensity of that new light blinding. Naturally, you fixate on the source of that explosion. You scramble in the debris, desperately trying to piece the lamp back together exactly as it was, convinced that only the supernova's light was real, was valid. You mourn the lamp. You worship the supernova. You believe all other light sources, candles, fireflies, even the damn sun, are now irrelevant, pathetic imitations. This is the illusion of exclusivity. It feels like truth because the pain is so real. Here's the radical, rarely whispered secret. The supernova wasn't meant to replace your lamp. It was meant to show you that you are the light source. The explosion? That was your own dormant divinity waking up with a violent start. The twin flame mirror didn't show you their glory. It reflected back the staggering, terrifying, magnificent power you already contained, but had fragmented, buried, forgotten under lifetimes of not enough. The aching exclusivity. That's the addiction to the reflection, not the substance. It's like being parched in a desert and mistaking the mirage for the only possible oasis, while the real, deep wellspring is being dug within you by the very heat of that perceived lack. Think about the mechanics of it, that soul-shaken intensity. So much of it stems from the triggers, the way they ignited every buried insecurity, every childhood wound, every fear of abandonment or engulfment you'd neatly packed away. Ouch. It felt like divine punishment, right? Like the universe playing a cruel joke. But step back. Why did their silence feel like annihilation? Why did their presence feel like homecoming and terror simultaneously? It wasn't them doing that magic trick. It was your unhealed parts screaming for attention through the perfect mirror they provided. This, darling heart, is the brutal, sacred surgery. The runner-chaser dynamic isn't a romantic tragedy. It's the external dance of your own internal fragmentation, the part of you that craves fusion, the chaser, and the part terrified of losing itself, the runner, locked in an exhausting tango within your own psyche. So you do the work, not for them, not for some fairy tale reunion, though that can happen from a new space. You do it because the pain of staying shattered is worse than the pain of healing. You sit with the abandonment wound. You face the codependency. You reclaim your projections. You learn to soothe yourself, to validate yourself, to hold your own fragmented inner child. You stop begging the mirror to love you and start loving the being behind the reflection. This isn't spiritual bypassing. It's gritty, tear-stained, snot-on-the-sleeve reconstruction. And slowly, molecule by molecule, something shifts. The desperate need for that specific reflection to feel whole begins to dissolve. Not because the love lessens, but because the lack within you fills. This is where the expansion happens. The mystery unfolds. As you integrate those shattered pieces, the wounded child, the fierce protector, the abandoned lover, the controlling ego, your inner lamp isn't just repaired, it's transmuted. You're not a lamp anymore. You're becoming a lighthouse. Your light isn't borrowed or reflected, it's generated from a core of hard-won wholeness. And a lighthouse doesn't weep because it can only illuminate one specific ship. Its purpose is to cast light widely, to guide all who resonate with its frequency, to warn of dangers, to offer safe harbor based on authentic resonance, not desperate need. The supernova ignited your potential. The integration work builds the stable, enduring structure from which your true light shines. Suddenly, interest, isn't about finding someone who makes you feel that supernova high again, which was often just the dizzying intoxication of your own unhealed wounds being activated. That's like an alcoholic chasing the next bottle because they missed the initial buzz, ignoring the devastating hangover and the erosion of self. Number interest now becomes about resonance. It's a quieter, deeper hum. You notice the person who speaks your soul's language of kindness, even if they don't make your knees buckle instantly. You value the steady hand, the safe space, the shared laughter that doesn't come with an undertow of anxiety. You're drawn to authenticity over intensity, to peace over drama, to mutual growth over karmic entanglement. The frantic hunger subsides, replaced by sovereign discernment. You might walk past 100 flashing neon signs because you're attuned to a subtler, warmer, more sustainable glow. This isn't less love, it's more evolved love. It's the difference between a firework, spectacular, brief, potentially damaging, and the steady warmth of a hearth, nourishing, enduring, life-sustaining. The truth is, the twin flame journey, when fully embraced in its soul-crushing, ego-demolishing glory, doesn't narrow your capacity for love. It explodes the damn dam holding it back. It forces you to source love from within, and once you become that overflowing wellspring, you naturally become capable of sharing that pure, unneedy, unconditional frequency with others. Not as replacements, but as beautiful, unique expressions of connection that honor the radiant, whole being you've fought so hard to become. The exclusivity was the chrysalis, the expansion is the wings. Feels like a radical shift, doesn't it? Almost too hopeful to trust? Hold that thought, because understanding how your very definition of interest undergoes a revolution after this awakening, that's where things get truly liberating. Let's peel back that next layer. All right, gorgeous soul, let's get real about this whole no interest in anyone else conundrum. It feels like a curse, doesn't it? Like the universe handed you this mind-blowing, heart-exploding experience and then promptly snatched away your ability to enjoy anything else on the menu. You scroll through dating profiles with the enthusiasm of someone reviewing tax forms. That charming barista's smile might as well be a flickering neon sign in broad daylight. Conversations with perfectly lovely humans feel like wading through treacle. And the guilt. Oh, the guilt whispers. See, you're broken. You'll be alone forever, pining for a ghost. It's enough to make you want to build a shrine out of old text messages and call it a life. Been there, got the tear-stained t-shirt. But what if I told you this perceived lack is actually the most profound upgrade your romantic radar will ever receive? What if this crushing disinterest isn't the end of love, but the birth of a radically new way of experiencing it? Forget the tired twin flame tropes for a second. Let's crack open this mystery together. Think back to before. Remember that frantic energy? The constant scanning, the hopeful swipes, the desperate need for someone, anyone to validate you, to make you feel seen, desired, alive? That was interest powered by lack. It was like wandering through a desert, parched, grabbing at every mirage promising water. The intensity you felt with your twin flame. Part of that electric shock was the sheer relief of finally finding something that felt real in that desert, even if it turned out to be a powerful oasis reflecting your own deepest thirst back at you. It was potent, yes, but was it always healthy? Was it always seeing the other person, or was it seeing the salvation you desperately projected onto them? Here's the rarely spoken truth. A significant chunk of that all-consuming interest you felt for your twin, especially in the chaotic, obsessive phases, wasn't pure, divine love. It was energetic addiction. It was your unhealed wounds, your core insecurities, your buried karmic patterns, finding the perfect tuning fork to resonate with. The push-pull, the runner-chaser agony. That's the addictive high and crash of deeply ingrained survival patterns playing out. It felt like destiny because it tapped into the very bedrock of your subconscious pain and longing. It was less soul recognition and more wound resonance on a cosmic scale. Ouch. I know, it stings to consider, but freedom lies in seeing it clearly. So, what happens after the detonation? You start doing the work, the gritty, unglamorous inner archaeology. You pull those projections back. You sit with the abandonment wound without begging the mirror to fix it. You learn to validate yourself. You build an inner sanctuary so solid that external validation becomes a nice perk, not a life raft. You detox from the drama. Slowly, miraculously, the static clears. And this, beloved, is where the real magic, the real transformation of interest unfolds. Your senses haven't dulled. They've been recalibrated. It's like spending years in a noisy, garishly lit casino, addicted to the flashing lights and the clanging jackpots, even when you mostly lost. Then you walk out into the quiet dawn. Suddenly, the subtle scent of rain on earth is intoxicating. The delicate pattern of frost on a leaf is breathtaking. The sincere warmth in a friend's eyes feels like a deep, nourishing balm. The casino's sensory assault now feels jarring, vulgar, empty. That's not a loss of sensation, it's a refinement of perception. Your romantic interest undergoes the same profound shift. The qualities that once sent fireworks shooting up your spine, the brooding mystery that masked unavailability, the intense chemistry that often signaled emotional volatility, the grand gestures that papered over inconsistency. These things now register differently. They might ping your awareness, but they no longer hook you. The addictive charge is gone. Why? Because you're no longer running on lack. You're not desperately seeking someone to plug your holes, to make you whole, to replicate that addictive high. Your inner well is filling. What does spark your interest now? It's quieter, deeper, infinitely more potent. It's sovereign discernment. This isn't disinterest. This is evolution. It's your soul saying, been there, done that, bought the tear-stained t-shirt. I'm trading up. You're no longer captivated by the loudest noise in the room. You're attuned to the purest note. It might mean you feel drawn to fewer people, significantly fewer. That's not scarcity. It's selectivity born of self-worth. You're not settling for crumbs when you know the taste of true nourishment. It's like developing a connoisseur's palate after a lifetime of junk food. The cheap, sugary rush loses its charm. You start savoring complexity, depth, nuance. You appreciate the subtle flavors of genuine connection, emotional safety, quiet understanding. It might look like less interest to the outside world, but internally, it's the deepest, most respectful form of interest you've ever known. you're finally able to see people, not just your projections or your needs reflected in them. So, that feeling of walking through a world of romantic meh, it's not your heart closing down. It's your spirit level finally settling. It's your inner compass locking on to true north after years of spinning wildly. You're not broken, darling. You're upgraded. The old signals no longer register because you're tuned to a sacred frequency. The frequency of wholeness feels like a quieter, more sustainable kind of magic, doesn't it? Almost peaceful. But what happens when this new, discerning you encounters a connection that genuinely resonates on this deeper level? That's where the real adventure begins. Beyond the ache, beyond the longing, into a love that feels less like destiny crashing down and more like coming home to yourself with someone beautiful walking beside you. Let's explore that horizon next. So here you stand, beautiful traveler, right at the edge of that vast, terrifying, exhilarating question, will I ever love again? After the seismic shift of encountering your twin flame, the landscape of your heart feels irrevocably altered. The old maps are useless. The familiar signposts, infatuation, neediness, that frantic search for completion in another, lie buried under the sacred rubble of your awakening. It's tempting, isn't it, to believe the most poignant love song has already played its final note, to resign yourself to a quieter, perhaps lonelier, existence haunted by a ghostly echo of divine intensity, to buy into the myth that your twin flame was both the summit and the terminus of your heart's journey. But what if that summit wasn't the peak at all? What if it was merely the vantage point? Imagine you've spent your life admiring intricate, beautiful tapestries hanging on a gallery wall. You've studied their patterns, marveled at their colors, felt the pull of their stories. Then, one day, you stumble into the weaver's workshop itself. Not just any workshop, the workshop where the very threads of existence are spun. You witness the raw materials, the complex loom, the skilled hands crafting meaning from seeming chaos. You feel the vibration of creation itself. It's overwhelming, awe-inspiring. It redefines your understanding of what a tapestry even is. Afterwards, returning to the gallery, it feels different. The finished pieces are still beautiful, yes, but you can't unsee the process. You can't unfeel the profound energy humming beneath the surface. The passive appreciation is gone. Does this mean you can never enjoy a tapestry again? Of course not. It means your appreciation has deepened into something richer, more discerning, more participatory. You see the potential in the threads, the skill in the weave, the soul in the pattern. You understand the tapestry not just as an object, but as a living testament to creation. This, precious soul, is the alchemy your twin flame encounter has wrought within you. That relationship wasn't just another tapestry on your wall. It was the brutal, glorious invitation into the weaver's workshop of your own soul. It forced you to confront the tangled threads of your past, the knots of your wounds, the vibrant potential of your unlived life lying dormant on the spool. The intensity, that was the friction of the loom, sometimes jarring, often painful, always transformative, weaving those disparate strands into something new, you, whole, awake. The profound shift you feel, the seeming disinterest in the old gallery pieces, isn't apathy. It's resonant recognition. Your inner tuning fork, calibrated by the sacred fire of that encounter, now hums at a frequency most can't match. It's not that others are less than your twin flame. It's that you are no longer seeking mere decoration for your walls. You are seeking co-creators, souls who have also visited their own inner workshops, souls who understand the weight and wonder of the threads they carry, souls whose energy doesn't just look nice beside yours, but harmonizes with the unique song your own transformation composed. Forget the notion of loving again, as if it were a pale imitation of what came before. That's like comparing the simple joy of hearing a favorite melody to the profound experience of composing a symphony from the depths of your being. The next connection, should you choose it, should it choose you, won't be a replacement. It will be a different movement in the grand opus of your heart. It might be a gentle adagio of deep companionship, a vibrant allegro of shared purpose, or a serene andante of profound mutual understanding. Its beauty won't lie in replicating the crashing cymbals of your twin flame's initial impact, but in the exquisite harmony it creates with the complex, resilient, and utterly unique instrument you have become. This new love won't ask you to shrink, to chase, or to abandon yourself on the altar of longing. It will meet you where you stand, sovereign, discerning, radiating the hard-won light of your own integration. It will resonate with the depth you've earned, not the neediness you've shed. It will feel less like destiny crashing down and more like two rivers, having carved their own distinct paths through challenging terrain, finally merging into a wider, more powerful flow. Not because they were lost, but because their individual journeys prepared them to carry more together. So, will you ever love again? The question itself transforms. It's no longer about if your heart can beat for another, but how it will beat with a deeper, steadier, more authentic rhythm. It's about recognizing that the love you are now capable of giving and receiving is infinitely more potent, more peaceful, and more real than anything predicated on lack or desperate fusion. The twin flame wasn't the end of your love story. It was the crucible that forged your capacity for a love so vast, so nuanced, so fiercely gentle, that its next expression will be uniquely its own masterpiece. The horizon isn't empty, beloved, it's simply clearer. And the view from wholeness? It's breathtaking. The next chapter isn't about finding another flame. It's about discovering how brightly your own light can shine, and who walks willingly, joyfully, within its radiant, welcoming warmth. Ready to explore what love looks like when you're already home?